Welcome back to Gold Derby. I'm Christopher Rosen. I'm joined by Joyce Ng. Joyce, it's Tuesday. Yesterday was the Oscars luncheon. Did you happen to see a lot of that on social media?
As always, except for last year, obviously.
Right.
So
they returned in full force. A lot of photos of famous people mingling being taken by Oscar pundits.
Except we didn't get the full class photo because COVID, but apparently they're gonna do a composite of
a lot of, I gotta say,
the 20 people shots they kept doing.
Not the most. So they had the event. It seemed like you needed 48 hours. Within 48 hours, a negative test, and then everybody's mingling without masks, whatever. And then
everyone's gonna get COVID.
Then they did spacing on the photos. So like the COVID was not in the mingle part, but obviously on the day as maybe there was more COVID. I guess.
There's definitely COVID in like the cocktail hour and at the tables.
I don't, maybe not though, because you didn't have to wear masks at the table. So I don't know. But no, so Joyce, there was a lot of, it was a fun event yesterday. I felt like, because like watching the tweets and stuff and reading the recaps, you got a good sense of, I guess the tone of the nominees on the Oscar telecast changes. And then also a lot of trying to read the tea leaves of what a nominees excited people. Sounds like in Best Supporting Actress, Joyce, I sent you this tweet last night. Anjanae Ellis got a lot of applause, but I also saw that Ariana DeBose also got.
I mean, who is not going to get applause there if you're physically there and they say your name and and especially if you're a celebrity and you walk to the stage. Well, we do this every single year. It's like, oh my God, someone really ranked high on the applause-o-meter. They're going to win.
So everyone got applause, but those got more. I would say we talked about in our column, maybe an upset in Best Supporting Actress that I don't really believe will happen, but Anjanae Ellis would probably be the upset pick if it would happen. And I guess we'll see a BAFTA.
It's still weird she did not make SAG.
It's very strange. That's why I think if she had made SAG, we would maybe be a little more bullish on her potential upset potential. But we'll see if BAFTA this weekend, maybe she does upset. But so that was one thing. And then all the nominees seem really mad. A lot of them, at least, about the telecast changes. That remains a hot button thing. We had Denis Villeneuve and Jane Campion earlier this week. Steven Spielberg said it was bad. At the Times quoted the Dune editor, Joe Walker, who is not pleased with it. So yeah, but they're not going to change their minds. It doesn't seem like.
I mean, we've talked about this when they announced it, like they purposely waited until like a month out, because last time they did it in August.
Yes.
And then they realized, oh, we should wait as long as possible and then just really hold our foot to the fire.
I forgot which article it was in, was one of these recaps. Somebody was saying that they had talked about doing it at the 91st Oscars as well, which was
that was the one. That was when they announced it in August.
That's how long ago it was?
Well, this is only 94. It's only 3 years.
Oh my God, that's only 3 years.
Can you not do that? They announced the like popular film and like those changes in August 2018 for the 2019 ceremony. And then people were initially mad. They reneged on popular film like a month later, but they didn't comment on the removal of those categories until like in February when, the show was coming together. And then that's when, Hollywood like drafted the letter and everything. And then
I remember all of this. I just feel like it was not 3 years ago. I don't know. Time is strange, Joyce, as always. But so that was one.
Well, we've had a whole pandemic since then. We're still in a pandemic, and we're still having events. So
the other one thing I wanted to flag from the luncheon was this incredible quote. Deadline had Pete Hammond's recap had this incredible quote from Denzel Washington as he was waiting for his car at the valet. We'll read between the lines on this one, Joyce. For me, this is the Denzel quote. For me, this is just a fun thing to do. People talk about, is it Will or me or Andrew Garfield? It could be anyone, but I'm happy at this point to be invited to the party. So,
okay. So we talked about this last week. Was it like in our SAG one or like our regular one last week? Like he's voting for Will.
So he's voting for Will. B, only Andrew and Will and Denzel. No offense to Javier Bardem and Benedict Cumberbatch, and perhaps it was strategic not to mention Benedict Cumberbatch as he is maybe Will's toughest competition, but Denzel is just like, hey, it might be me, might be Andrew, might be Will. Great time though. I'm excited.
I'm telling you, it's because Benedict said in an interview he was most excited to meet Will Smith. That's why.
I will say in the brief, the social media videos, and like Denzel looks like he is having the time of his life.
Like he is living his best life. Like he knows he's not winning. This is just like his last nomination for Roman J. Israel Esquire that nobody saw. Like he knows he's not winning. The last time he thought he could win was for Fences when he won SAG. And even then I was like, Casey Affleck just literally swept the season except for SAG.
Right.
So
I do think there is, when you have a veteran like Denzel or in any time who's been nominated multiple times, there is a definitely effort sense where they're just like, this is a lot of fun. I just get to hang out and be Denzel.
Yeah, it's just like when Meryl racks up these noms now and like she knows she's not winning.
I was watching this weekend, Joyce, old Billy Crystal Oscar monologue openings.
Which one?
I watched the 93 one, which is I believe the year Few Good Men and Crying Game were nominated. So you get the really problematic Crying Game spoof. But just I watched the whole opening. You have Jack in the front row. Billy is just completely playing to Jack Nicholson the whole time. And it just reminded me of the Denzel. I'm like, Denzel needs to be front row at the Oscars and just like taking the Jack place, I think, as like the guy.
Has been, like when he's nominated, like he'll probably be center, like middle row.
He's got to be. I just felt like watching it. Jack was nominated that year for A Few Good Men, obviously, and he was just having the time of his life watching.
Well, remember when Denzel was nominated for Fences? He was front row center, and they opened a show with Justin Timberlake, Can't Stop the Feeling, and he was like completely dancing in Denzel's face when he started going into the aisle.
I'm sure Denzel loved that. So Joyce, we're not talking about the Oscars though. Yeah, or we're not talking about the show, I guess. We're gonna do our Critics' Choice Award picks because this weekend, Joyce, a humongous weekend. We have the Critics' Choice Awards, we have the BAFTA Awards, the DGA Awards are this weekend, right? What else?
There's a lot of things this week, really.
Right. It just is a very
like visual effects is tonight. Today's Tuesday, March 8th.
We're just throwing everything in. But we're gonna focus on the Critics' Choice Awards. Let's start. I think we should start with film. And we'll later do TV. We're going to do this all in one thing. So if you're watching this,
TV is always last, but first in our hearts.
Right. If you're watching this and like, I don't care what they have to say about these movies. Again, want to see what they have to say about Succession. You could skip.
As always, when are we now talking about Succession?
But we're going to start with the film. I think we should just go through from the top. We haven't talked about these very much.
It's also been 3 months since they announced nominations.
So do you want to start with Best Picture?
Sure.
So the nominees were, it was Power of the Dog, I'm not even doing these in alphabetical order, I guess. Maybe I should.
Are you just reading your rankings right now?
I'm just going to read my rankings. Hang on, let me find.
Wow, that just really expose your bias right now.
No, it's not, because actually I don't have Power of the Dog winning. Hang on. Let me find the nominees. Hang on. Okay, here we go. Best Picture nominee. Belfast, CODA, Don't Look Up, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, Power of the Dog, Tick, Tick, Boom, and West Side Story. So they got 9 of the 10 Best Picture nominees. Missed Drive My Car, which was replaced.
Incredibly ironic, but also not surprising.
Not surprising, because I think these nominees were announced in December, few were really on the Drive My Car road.
But, Drive My Car swept the big 3 critics. Very huge critical push, and not nominated by the Critics' Choice Awards.
Not nominated by the Critics' Choice. So those are the nominees.
Also as expected. So
correct. Those are the nominees. Joyce, I actually starting with the hilarious upset. I have CODA winning Best Picture.
I mean, that's fine. Like also not. So I said this to you before we start recording. What we should do is share our current predictions, but also share what would have won had they kept their January 9th date, their original date, before they moved it.
Correct. So if this was January, I'll start there. If this was
also they haven't voted yet because they start voting tomorrow, March 9th to March 11th. So it's not like they voted in January and these totals have been locked for 2 months.
So because of that, I think on January 9th, Power of the Dog would have won.
Yes.
And now I think CODA will win, because I think the sense, at least online, is just the enthusiasm for CODA remains incredibly high. And while I still think it's like a long shot to predict it winning at the Oscars, I think it could win here in like a embrace of the film. I think it's had a great second life. People are very enthusiastic about it, and it just feels like my sense. You know probably better than me. My sense of the Critics' Choice body is that it's pretty mainstream.
Yes, and like it's very film Twitter and very pundits.
Yes, and it's not like it's not like the New York Film
It's
Critics.
it's not
like
like the New York, LA, like National Society Film Critics.
Correct. So I think it's a little more down the middle of the road. What's the word? Mainstream.
Middlebrow. It's very film Twitter. It's very film Twitter. And no, I agree definitely that had this happened in January, Power of the Dog would be winning. I still have it in first, but I moved CODA from like, I don't know, 7th up to its 2nd.
So I think
and I would not be shocked if it won, because that's what film Twitter is backing right now. In the last 8 days.
Yes.
Since it's all Ensemble win. Mm-hmm. It's kind of crazy. Everyone just jumped the Belfast ship onto CODA because they realized Belfast is weak and probably is not the alternative to
Belfast is on the side of the road. We just left it there.
Just completely dumped it. Sorry to Belfast.
CODA, I guess I would say it's a movie that we all have said, or at least I have said, and you agree with that. People who watch it really love it. And I think a lot of people enjoy the movie. And I believe that people have been waiting perhaps on film Twitter for permission to say, I like CODA more than Power of the Dog. And perhaps the SAG win was the
weirdest thing, I think we talked about this last week, is I don't understand what took so long, because CODA was not a late movie. It's not like it just premiered in December or something. It premiered at Sundance last January. It's over a year old. Right. And it was a huge hit at Sundance, not even something completely minor. And Apple bought it for, I don't know, what was it, 60 million or something?
25 million. I think.
Sure. Yeah. I was off by 9 million. So, and then it was released in the summer. They've been doing heavy press for it and promotion. That CODA team is everywhere. So it's not underseen or there's no lack of awareness. So I don't know why, it wasn't always the underdog. It's literally just emerged since the SAG win, because people realize, it won something big, and now maybe it could take down Power of the Dog.
I think that's part of the reason why, because we have spent months talking about where's a crowd pleaser to
and it's an actual crowd pleaser.
And it's an actual crowd pleaser. And unfortunately, while I think I watched West Side Story again.
You watched it 7 times this weekend.
And I think it's the best. I now revised my rankings and have decided it's the best movie of last year. It's ahead of CODA and Licorice Pizza for me. It's the best movie.
I mean, it's definitely ahead of those for me.
I just think the perception of West Side Story and a lot of these other ones is that it's not a winner. You know how we talk, I mentioned, I think people like voting for something they think that would win. And I think West Side Story, a lot of people are it's great, but it's not going to win. So CODA, I think, actually has the aura of a winner for whatever reason.
Well, there's also a lot of other factors working against West Side Story. People are coming into it with a lot of biases already, because it's a musical and it's another adaptation of a former Best Picture winner, even though it's not a remake of that movie. It's just an adaptation of the Broadway musical.
Right.
And yeah, so whereas CODA is an underdog, and but it's also a remake, which no one talks about. It's a remake of a French film. Yes, no one talks about this. So if you have a remake bias, you should also have it against this. And no one talks about how The Departed is a remake of a film as well. But it's because those films aren't American that no one cares.
Correct. You got it.
So there you go.
And the other thing is, I think if we're going back, we talked about this last week. I think that fact that the Academy is very international is the one thing holding, or is newly a lot more international voters. And, Power of the Dog, I think, remains I think CODA does feel uniquely, I don't know if American's the right word, because you said, it's a French language remake. But
the CODA itself, the original French film is obviously, it's a French, I've never seen it, but French film. But this is a very American film.
Yeah. And I think
not just because it's set in Boston.
Right. And Power of the Dog is more of a cineast, like we said, international vibe, a movie that would be at Cannes. CODA, I don't think would be at the Cannes Film Festival.
No, it's a very nice movie. A very cute, simple movie. Yes, so, and I also think its nomination haul reflects that. It only got 3.
Right, exactly. And I think it did not get anything else that is a tough beat. But anyway, CODA for Best Picture, Joyce. You have Power of the Dog still.
Yeah, I mean, I might move CODA to first, because I feel especially since they haven't started voting yet.
Right, that's the thing. I think, and I feel every day I see another great photo of the CODA cast, or another tweet about how everybody loves them and couldn't wait for them to come into the room, and comparing it to Parasite in the sense that like there's
Parasite.
just so much enthusiasm for it. Anyway, CODA Best Picture. Best Director.
So like the other thing is, we know like they like to predict the Oscars, right?
Yes, right. So I think if they're going to try to jump the Oscars, this would be the way to do it. For Best Director, Joyce, I have not, for January I would have said Jane Campion, and for right now I say Jane Campion. I have this one I feel like is very solid, even if Power of the Dog loses Best Picture.
Yeah, I don't know what else.
Nothing else to say. No. I would say again, the nominees, trying to predict the Oscars from the Critics' Choice Awards, it was Jane Campion, Steven Spielberg, Paul Thomas Anderson, Kenneth Branagh, Denis Villeneuve, and Guillermo del Toro, no Ryosuke Hamaguchi, which again, probably they should have been in here for the critics. It's a critical fave, but
also not surprising that he's not here.
Best actress,
but yeah, Jane. That's it.
Jane's got to win. We have nothing else to say. She's gonna win. Best Actress, Joyce. The nominees were Jessica Chastain, Olivia Colman, Lady Gaga, Alana Haim, Nicole Kidman, and Kristen Stewart. So they did a decent job, I guess, of like predicting the Oscars somewhat. No Penelope Cruz.
No critics' favorite Penelope Cruz, which was also a late film. So the other thing is, when I was like updating my predictions yesterday, like these nominations are very early December buzz.
Yes.
And I feel like I was talking to someone about this last week, like they should have like released like a new set of nominations.
They
like after they delayed it, you know? Or like, you know, if the ceremony was always going to be in March, they would have announced the nominations in February.
Yeah.
And they would not be these.
I don't think so. I think you would not have Alana Haim in here. I don't think you would have Lady Gaga. Now, if this was January, though, I think Lady Gaga would have won, Joyce. I think that would have been.
Oh, no, I think it's case due then and now.
I think it's case due now. I think that they maybe would have done Lady Gaga because they're trying to predict the Oscars. That would have been my take. But
no, but see, the thing is, it's like it was going to be, the ceremony was originally going to be January 9th, the same day as the Globes, remember? And that was before SAG nominations when Case Due was snubbed.
Nah, you're right. You got the time.
And like Case Due is Film Twitter's girl, okay? Like even more so than Carey Mulligan last year. So the thing I can see is like they might tie her and Jessica. Because you know,
that would be incredible. I have Jessica too.
And she won SAG.
I do think that Kristen will win. This remains a great category with like no clear front runner. And I guess, I mean, if Jessica Chastain, let's do this. So we both have Kristen Stewart. I think that'll happen. Obviously, BAFTA is this weekend too. None of the Oscar nominees are present at BAFTA. So
yeah, we'll do BAFTA predictions tomorrow. Well, depending on when you're watching this.
Yes. We'll do another one of these for BAFTA predictions. But so Kristen Stewart can't win a BAFTA. It remains a hilarious race because I don't think there's a clear front runner. But if Jessica Chastain wins on Sunday at the Critics' Choice Awards, do you think that is like that a Critics' Choice trying to predict the Oscars, or do you think that has actual standing in the idea that maybe she can win?
I think that's more like responding to her SAG win.
Okay.
Because then it's like, I mean, there's no crossover with like Critics' Choice membership and Oscar membership. You know, that's just another award for her. And she can actually go to that ceremony since she's not nominated at BAFTA. So they're going to have like a London satellite for BAFTA and Critics' Choice nominees. Just, you know, they, you know, really picked the same date as the BAFTA. So
it was it's a little bit inscrutable to figure out the production of the show, but we have satellite for sure.
So I mean, at least they'll have like the TV nominees in LA, you know, since they're not BAFTA. I think that would just be them kind of responding to SAG and thinking, because now I guess she is like the default front runner because this is the biggest award we've had. It is the first industry award we've had, and she won it. It doesn't mean she's going to win the Oscar, but there's more going for her than I guess you can say for Nicole, because Nicole won the Globe, but that's also not industry, and she didn't get to give a speech. So
I think the other thing that I look at with Jessica Chastain is because she's the de facto frontrunner because of the SAG win, it just feels like people are then just like pushing her forward. You know what I mean? So people are basically thinking that, she's going to win because she won already. And I do think the momentum that she is gaining is strong. So if she won the Critics' Choice Awards, I think that would be another like feather in her cap.
Yeah, then she'll have two things.
Right. And then she can't lose at BAFTA or win at BAFTA. And then we go
no one
into the
can.
Oscars.
So like it's just they're still on even ground there.
So then we go into the Oscars and it's basically, oh, Jessica Chastain is probably going to win. And the other thing I do wonder is we had talked about like the sameness of a lot of these performances with regard to like a transformation. It does feel like the Nicole Kidman transformation has really ebbed as the Jessica Chastain transformation has gained a lot of traction. I do believe
that was always the case, right? Because like she transformed more physically than Nicole did. That was always the knock against Nicole, right?
And then there's also the fact that Tammy Faye remains a front runner, I guess, for hair and makeup.
Yeah. Well, so like the other thing is, like Critics' Choice like prides itself on being like the best Oscar predictor or whatever, and this race is so open that they could either just back Jessica. Like, and a lot of people, to be fair, a lot of people love that performance, right? Like she's great.
I think she
like completely carries the movie, performance.
She's great.
Yeah. So they could, if whether or not they think she's winning an Oscar, they could still vote for her. But also the race is open enough where they could think like Kristen can still win, right? Like any 5 of them can still win because this race is so weird this year. So they could still like take the chance and vote for Kristen.
I can see. I mean, either one of those would make sense to me. I do think it's maybe a coin flip, and maybe it is a tie, like you said. But I'll stick with Kristen Stewart. I do think she's gonna win. Mm-hmm. Best Actor, Joyce. The nominees were Nicolas Cage for Pig. They went for it. They took their shot.
Film Twitter did like Pig a lot. So
Benedict Cumberbatch for Power of the Dog. Peter Dinklage for Cyrano. They took their shot again. Yeah, finally came out, Joyce, last week. I think. Andrew Garfield for Tick, Tick, Boom, Will Smith for King Richard, and Denzel Washington for The Tragedy of Macbeth. So no Javier Bardem here. They missed the boat on that. But in January, I would have said Will Smith, and in March, I'm still saying Will Smith. I got Will Smith.
Same. Yeah.
Feels like that's going to happen. I actually we'll talk about this on the BAFTA ones, but I have Will winning a BAFTA too. I think he is like,
you think he's going to do the full sweep?
I do. I think the momentum he has generated is too strong to deny. But nothing else here really to say about this category. I mean, great nominees, a lot of good performances. We really like Peter Dinklage and Nicolas Cage in Pig.
I mean, I have Andrew in second because he's just another performance that Film Twitter loves. And he's actually, like we've talked about before, like he's won more Critics Awards, like the regional awards, than Will has. So I do. If there is an upset, it'd be him.
I do believe, not to sound incredibly cynical, but had Andrew Garfield won at SAG Awards, that he would win at Critics' Choice Awards. I do think that is how it would have played out.
Yeah, I could see that, or a tie. Like I don't think there's a tie now. I could have seen them tying them had he won SAG. So.
Supporting actress choice. The nominees were Katrina Balfe for Belfast. R.I.P. your candidacy there, Katrina Balfe, unfortunately. But Ariana DeBose for West Side Story, Ann Dowd for Mass, Kirsten Dunst for Power of the Dog, Anjanae Ellis for King Richard, and Rita Moreno for West Side Story.
Quite a list. Ariana, yeah, nothing else to say.
I also still have Ariana winning. While we talked about earlier, the applausometer for Anjanae Ellis was high at the luncheon, allegedly. I just don't believe anything is going to beat Ariana DeBose. And even watching West Side Story again, and I have no idea how people vote for these things and if they actually revisit the movies. That being said, when we were watching West Side Story, I was like, wow, she really is unbelievably good. It is hard to deny how good she is in the movie.
You know what was funny? So I watched the 61 one. I told you, right? I watched this last Tuesday before the new one dropped on streaming. And then I watched that one. And then I watched it again over the weekend with my friends who hadn't seen it yet. And then last night, the first one was on HBO again, like linear TV.
Right. Wow.
And then it was like, I think it was on after The Peacemaker. So I obviously watched the end of The Peacemaker. And then it was on, and then I watched like the first like 40 minutes and I was like, this version is so much better.
I also agree. The new version is so much better. I know that's blasphemy. I can't wait to see the comments.
I know, it's like, we weren't alive in 61. Sorry to people who are just
I can't. I just found it. The new version is so alive, and while I think you and I both agreed, Rita Moreno in the original is also undeniable. I think the performances are really somewhat different, and I think Ariana DeBose brings enough. It's an obviously a home run It's a home run character. It's hard to mess up Anita in West Side Story.
That character is just awards catnip. Like she lapped everyone just by having that role already, right. And then she just had to nail it.
But she really does nail it. It's incredibly good. She is incredibly good in it. Yeah, that's what I got. That's it. For supporting actor, Joyce, the nominees were Jamie Dornan for Belfast, Kieran Hines for Belfast, Troy Kotzer for CODA, Jared Leto for House of Gucci, J.K. Simmons for Being the Ricardos, and William Frawley. And Cody Smith-McPhee for Power of the Dog. William Frawley was also nominated. Apparently, it's very strange.
Wow, a posthumous nomination.
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
So in January, I would say Cody would win, but now it's Troy all the way.
Exactly the same. I unbelievably true. I feel like if Troy doesn't win here, I'd be shocked.
He's their guy now, so
he's the guy. He's been all over the place. I will say we talked about this recently. My impression was that Troy has been everywhere and like really, kind of making a play for this, while Cody had not been a lot of places, right? But I don't believe that's true. You had mentioned that he's been doing everything, and he was really out there at the luncheon as well, and at this.
Yeah, like he's been to events. Like he was at SAG. They didn't win, so you didn't see him on stage. So like Power of the Dog didn't win there, and it wasn't nominated for Ensemble. But
right,
he's like been to events. I think there's more. I think like the team CODA has been to more in general. Is the thing, because like Kirsten Dunst and Jesse Plemons didn't even go to the luncheon yesterday.
No, they were working. They said,
they were working, and then like Jane Campion is isolating now because she has COVID.
Yeah, Jane Campion and Ari Wegner apparently have COVID. But they are very mild symptoms.
Benedict's been out a lot. Like Cody went to Benedict's Walk of Fame. He got a star last week on the Walk of Fame, and Cody was there. So
he also had a great response to the Sam Elliott controversy.
Well, they both did.
They both did, but I thought Cody's was stronger.
Cody was just straight fire.
Now, Joyce, what do you think about William Frawley? You think he can win here? Sorry.
Well, I think William Frawley is in third, definitely. There, just a posthumous win. They don't do those a lot. We don't have a lot of those, but yeah.
Okay, so those are our. So now we're gonna
move on. This category of all of the acting categories, the most December energy here.
Incredible December energy, to the point where I'm surprised that Ben Affleck wasn't in here as well, just because
they probably we nominated him last year for The Way Back, so we took care of him.
Next, so the list I have actually differs from our predictions center in order, but I mean,
I don't care.
Let's keep going on the actors. So then, best young actress, the nominees were Jude Hill for Belfast, Cooper Hoffman for Licorice Pizza, Amelia Jones for CODA, Woody Norman for Come On, Come On, Sanaya Sidney for King Richard, and Rachel Zegler for West Side Story. So were this January, Joyce, I would have had Rachel Zegler for West Side Story.
I had her as well, but yesterday I changed it to Amelia.
I also have Amelia now. Just again, the CODA train is really chugging along.
Yeah.
I will say this is an incredible category. I actually love all these nominees, and the Oscars should 100% adopt this, I feel, if they're adding categories. Love a best young actor.
They used to have their juvenile award.
I'd be weighing on this. I guess I don't know what's the cutoff, 20?
I feel like 18, because that's when you're an adult. So under 18.
But none of these people are under 18. Rachel Zegler's 20.
I know. Like that's, well, yeah, like their parameters is like over, but like, a child actor.
Under 20 would be good, I guess, or 18. But yeah, Amelia Jones. I gotta say, I haven't rewatched CODA recently and West Side Story recently. I think the case could be made that both of them should have gotten Oscar nominations. I really remain in the
Rachel was great. Like that is, she didn't. I mean, like that entire cast outside of Ariana got robbed this
season. She's incredible in it. And I know, like, obviously because of her prolific social media presence, that like maybe people are, I don't know, they're fatigued.
I don't think like voters pay attention to that. Like, we're online and we see that.
She's extremely online.
Like she's a kid.
But she's a kid and she's amazing in the movie. It's just an incredible performance. And Amelia Jones,
she's the best Maria by far.
Oh, yeah. It's not even close. And then Amelia Jones in CODA is also incredible because she has to do so many different things just from a skill standpoint, right? Like she's doing the ASL, obviously, like fluently speaking in ASL, doing incredible job singing, doing the fishing boat stuff that actually reads as so believable that it's like, second nature. Also is not American, so she's got to do an American accent.
I love when people realize that actors are not American, like Woody Norman.
So I love Amelia Jones in this. So I have Amelia Jones winning here as well. I guess we'll see if that holds true. But for best acting ensemble, Joyce, the nominees were Belfast, Don't Look Up, The Harder They Fall, Licorice Pizza, Power of the Dog, and West Side Story.
I was like very excited when I got to this because like they did not nominate CODA or King Richard.
Incredible.
What are they gonna do?
I have West Side Story.
I had that in December and I was like, I'm just gonna keep it because they deserve it and they were snubbed at SAG. So
I have no other really. It's weird because I've been making these picks like not going with what deserves it, like you just said. But I think West Side Story deserves it. The ensemble.
It does deserve it. And again, that entire cast outside of Ariana just paid dust this season. And I mean, like the most best picture adjacent, I guess, is Belfast. So they could just give it to Belfast here.
So I have Belfast runner up,
but also, as we said before, it's losing steam, so to speak. So
the luster has worn off. So I wonder if they'll go for it. But again, I would not be surprised if they did. Next up on this list, Joyce, best original screenplay. The nominees were Paul Thomas Anderson for Licorice Pizza, Zach Baylin for King Richard, Kenneth Branagh for Belfast, Adam McKay, and David Sirota for Don't Look Up, even though David Sirota didn't write it. He only has a story credit, and Aaron Sorkin for being the Ricardos. Most of these are Oscar nominees, save for Aaron Sorkin, who was booted out for Worst Person in the World, another critical favorite that apparently did not reach the Critics' Choice Awards in time. Joyce, if this was January, I think I would have said Paul Thomas Anderson, but now I'm saying Belfast. Totally opposite of what we were just saying, that the Belfast luster has worn off. But I believe that if the Critics' Choice Awards want to predict the Oscars, there is a sense, to me at least, that Belfast is going to win at the Oscars more so than Licorice Pizza. And so I'm going Belfast.
Okay. I think I'm just going to keep Licorice Pizza.
Okay.
I had that then and now. But I think because, Belfast hasn't won anything significant yet, like that might just have them back Licorice Pizza more. And it's more like, that's more of the cool pick anyway.
Yeah, but I don't know. Do they want to be cool, Joyce?
No, like I do think like they vote for what they like, and they also want to be the best Oscar predictor, right?
Right.
And we know like those are the top two probably. They could tie. Let's be real.
They could tie. I guess the reason I keep going back to Belfast is while obviously it has not generated enough enthusiasm to be a serious contender to Power of the Dog for Best Picture at the Oscars, I do think because of its nominations total, and it did hit in all of like the key categories, most of them at least, not all of them, in cinematography obviously and editing, I think at the Oscars. It does feel to me like people do want to reward this movie, and when you get right down to it, you would give Kenneth Branagh the Oscar for like this very personal story. I could see it happening. I just think he's going to win. And Licorice Pizza is an arm's length movie that the Academy did not embrace as much as maybe I had expected. So that was my reasoning for Belfast winning the Oscar. And then trying to back into that, I'm like, oh, the Critics' Choice Awards will give it to Belfast to say, we got it right. See, we were ahead of the curve on this.
They could just remember when they tied here for La La Land and Manchester by the Sea.
Yes, I do. So it could be a tie. Best Adapted Screenplay, Joyce. The nominees are Jane Campion for Power Dog, Maggie Gyllenhaal for Lost Daughter, Sean Hayter for CODA, Tony Kushner for West Side Story.
Well, one of his like 2 nominations this season.
Just absolutely unforgivable Oscar snub. Tony Kushner 100% should have been nominated. And then Eric Roth, John Spates, and Denis Villeneuve for Dune. In the Oscars, Ryusuke Hamaguchi was nominated here for Drive My Car.
I still have Power of the Dog.
I switched. I would have had Power of the Dog in January, and now I've switched to Maggie Gyllenhaal for Lost Daughter.
Because she won 3 Spirit Awards.
She won 3 Spirit Awards. She won the Scripter Award, I believe, right, over Power of the Dog. And again, just from the film Twitter buzz, it feels like that is a movie people really liked, very much respected. Maggie Gyllenhaal has a lot of fans, and I think because they're voting late, that having her give those speeches over the weekend at the Spirit Awards and just be very visible, even at the luncheon, is going to push her forward. The other reason is kind of like similar logic last year to Nomadland, which I think probably won here. It didn't win at the Critics' Choice Awards, but I guess from an Oscar perspective, Jane Campion's already winning Best Director, we assume. Still a strong bet to win Best Picture. There's not a real need to have it win Best Adapted Screenplay, even though it is a great adaptation. I just think this is a place to reward another movie that maybe will not get shine elsewhere. So Maggie Gyllenhaal for Lost Daughter. That's my pick.
Yeah, I mean, I have her in second. So, yeah.
Next up, we have Best Cinematography. Bruna Devenel for Tragic Macbeth, Greg Fraser for Dune, Janice Kaminsky for West Side Story, Dan Lautzen for Nightmare Alley, Ari Wegner for Power of the Dog, and Harris Zambar Lucas for Belfast.
I have Dune then and now. Dune is going to do very well at this place. So
I had Dune. I switched to Ari Wegner for Power of the Dog. I think they want to predict the Oscars, and I think that the Oscars, Ari Wegner is going to win. So I'm going Ari Wegner. That's okay. I have no other reason. I just think that Power of the Dog, I just wonder if there's a bias against Dune again because it's science fiction. I guess we'll find out. I don't know.
I don't think they maybe at the Oscars, but here film Twitter just loves Dune.
That's true, but I guess I'm going to they want to predict the Oscars, so that was my thinking. I will say Greg Fraser will have an opportunity in my mind next year here for the Batman choice, which I saw. He's awesome work in that as well. That guy's really
you don't think that could help him win the Oscar?
I don't know. I actually think it's more impressive. I think the Batman's more impressive than Dune from a visual standpoint, as much as I love Dune. So I was like, maybe we should say maybe he won't win. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Let's see. Best editing. We had Sarah Brosser and Michael Kahn for West Side Story. Criminal snub.
So rude.
Una Nidongali for Belfast. I'm reading these names. I apologize in advance. Andy Jurgensen for Licorice Pizza, Peter Sarabis for Power of the Dog, and Joe Walker for Dune. In this one, I have Dune, Joyce, and I would have Dune.
I have Dune then and now.
Yep. Joe Walker, congratulations on your Critics' Choice Award, I guess. For Best Costume Design, Jenny Bevan for Cruella, Robert Morgan and Jacqueline West for Dune, Luis Seguera for Nightmare Alley, Paul Tazwell for West Side Story, and Janty Yates for House of Gucci.
Cruella.
I also have Cruella then and now, though I moved West Side Story up to 2.
And I've always had it in 2 because
I'm hoping for an upset because Paul Tazwell, I interviewed him, Joyce, so obviously I'm in the tank and I would love for him.
I love him. His costumes are amazing. I talked to him when he did Harriet.
Yes.
He's done Hamilton. He's done a lot of Broadway shows. But yeah, I'm hoping he can at least squeak out the Guild win because they have separate categories there for period and stuff. So
would be great.
Yeah.
I love it so much. Best production design choice: Belfast, French Dispatch, West Side Story, Nightmare Alley, and Dune.
I have Dune then and now.
I have Nightmare Alley, and I had Nightmare Alley then as well. I'm still going. I'm gonna go down with the Nightmare Alley ship. When we saw it, that was the thing that popped for me. I
had it in first at the Oscars for 2 days after we saw it.
I think I still have it in first. I'm gonna wait to be proven wrong
because it won the Guild.
Yeah, I just think it's incredible production work, and
Dune also won the Guild.
I know Dune is great. I can't knock it. Can't knock it. This is a great this remains a great category, even with the.
I would vote for West Side Story because after I watched it twice again this weekend, I was like, God.
I would too. Another person I've interviewed, Adam Stockhouse for West Side Story, he did a great job finding.
At least they nominated The French Dispatch because he also did that, and that was great.
Joyce, best score. The nominees were our boy Nikki Britell for Don't Look Up, Johnny Greenwood for Power of the Dog, Johnny Greenwood for Spencer, Nathan Johnson for Nightmare Alley, and Hans Zimmer for Dune. Man, Nathan Johnson should have got nominated at the Oscars. I like that score a lot. He wasn't even shortlisted, so it shows you how they swung and a miss on this one from a predictive standpoint.
Yeah,
Dune all the way.
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer, get ready for your second Oscar and enjoy accepting it at the Oscars in the commercial break or before the show, excuse me. And then
before the show, in front of like half seat fillers, like 60% or 70% seat fillers. Yeah.
Best song, Joyce. This one is going to be interesting, I think, from the Critics' Choice standpoint, and then also the Oscars. But the nominees were "Be Alive" from King Richard, "Dos Oruguitas" for Encanto, "Guns Go Bang, Harder They Fall," "Just Look Up, Don't Look Up," and "No Time to Die" for No Time to Die. So in January, I actually had Dos Oruguitas for Encanto. I've been in the Encanto tank. Think it's going all the way. But I've switched now to No Time to Die for no reason other than the fact that Billie Eilish and her brother Phineas have been everywhere. And I just feel like that is, like you said, they haven't voted yet. So everybody who's a Critics' Choice voter or a pundit who was at the luncheon yesterday got to see them and like kind of like laugh with them. I'm like, I don't know. I think that matters. I
mean, like Lin-Manuel Miranda's been everywhere, but I still have No Time to Die then and now. So
I do think there's also perception that like by giving Encanto Best Animated Feature, that's a win for Lin, even though obviously it's not from a
because he's not
statistical standpoint. But anyway, I have No Time to Die. It remains shocking to me that I guess these are the nominees they ended up with. When, like you said, they could have picked anything. They didn't have to pick Dos Oruguitas. They could have done. We don't talk about Bruno here.
So like we talk about this with like all the regional critics awards that are not abiding by submissions, like the Oscars. Right. Are like, you have the choice to vote for Bruno. Like we don't talk about Bruno, and like those places don't. And then here as well, but you know, they voted for these nominations, Critics' Choice, in early December, and that was before Bruno took off. That was before Encanto was on Disney Plus. It was still in theaters then. So this, like, they just went with the Oscar submission.
I mean, I'll be curious to see what ends up winning here. I don't know. I could see Beyonce winning. I think Beyonce's second in the odds just because she's Beyonce.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Critics' Choice, maybe they like Beyonce. What do I know? Next up on my list was Hair and Makeup, Cruella, Dune, Tammy Faye, House of Gucci, Nightmare Alley. I have Eyes of Tammy Faye, and I had it in December as well, or January as well. I feel like that's it, and that's going to win also at the Oscars. Congratulations. Best Visual Effects, Dune, Matrix, Nightmare Alley, No Time to Die, and Shang-Chi, Dune, all the way.
Yes.
Animated Feature, Joyce, Encanto, Flea, Luca, Mitchell's vs. Machines, and Raya the Last Dragon.
Encanto.
So in January, I had Encanto, and now I have Encanto as well. No notes. Flea is still a top contender here, but I actually think that Mitchell's vs. Machines would be the second runner-up if I was doing that, because I know critics really enjoy that one. Two left here, Joyce, before we get to TV. Best Comedy. Lots of LOLs in this category. Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar. Don't Look Up, Free Guy, The French Dispatch, and Licorice Pizza. Knee slappers galore.
Yeah. You know, last year they gave it to Palm Springs, which is a good win.
I think if this was going on actually comedies, while I don't love it, Barb and Star would win, but because they want to give a movie, I have Licorice Pizza winning. I was trying to figure out a way to get Don't Look Up into winning.
I don't think they're going to do that.
I don't think they're going to do it either, because I still think it's too polarizing.
Yeah, like I have Licorice Pizza as well. Yeah, this categories, I think in the past they've given it to The Big Short and also like Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah, it's a broad definition of comedy, I would say. That's why I also think Don't Look Up could win, because it's
a satire.
And I like it. I do think I think the Critics' Choice voters maybe were the most liked. That was like this is the place where it probably was most liked, I would argue.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe. I think a lot of like the detractors are like more highbrow,
right?
People.
Yeah. Remember when we had to read multiple takes of people being like, "Don't Look Up is going to win Best Picture."
Yeah,
that was funny. Yes. That was funny.
That was great.
Great time.
Really, really enjoyed that.
So Licorice Pizza, maybe it'll win. It's a comedy. Sure, I laughed at it. I love it a lot. It's a good movie. Congratulations, I guess, there. And then Best Foreign Language Film. The nominees were Drive My Car, Flee, The Hand of God, A Hero, and Worst Person in the World. And I have Drive My Car winning.
Yeah, that's a win here.
That's it. I mean, what else can you say, right? Like that.
I don't know. I guess it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
You'll be interested to see how what?
The show goes.
I have no idea how the show's going to go, honestly. Like we said, they're going to be splitting it into 2 continents and God knows what else. They're in separate rooms, I think, right? Like some of the members will be in different places because of capacity limits.
I have no idea, but I feel like it'll just be a lot of TV nominees there.
Yes. So should we go to the TV, Joyce? I've not really looked
TV.
at this. This is going to be fun because I can update it live, basically.
Oh, wow. But I don't think you're going to have to update much.
I've updated it before. I've updated in March, just not recent, not in the last week. So, but we'll start at the top, Joyce. Let's do drama series. No, we'll do comedy series first. The nominees were The Great, Hacks, Insecure, Only Murders. The other 2, Reservation Dogs, Ted Lasso, and What We Do in the Shadows. And I am saying Ted Lasso.
Yes, congratulations to Ted. It won last year over Schitt's Creek. So Critics' Choice has never awarded Schitt's Creek a comedy series.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I guess if you're thinking then that could maybe make a play here for Hacks because they already gave Ted Lasso an award. I don't believe that the buzz is there for Hacks at the moment. So since they're voting.
No, and I love Hacks, but I think just the fact that they already gave it to Ted last year, right. Like I think they're willing to give it at least one more. Like they did this with Maisel because I felt like Schitt's Creek could have won. I guess that was 2 years ago now, or 3 years ago. I don't know. Yeah, 3 years ago now. But they gave it to Maisel again. So like they're not afraid to just, do a repeat win.
Right.
And Ted is the biggest show here.
Yes. All true. And then also here's where they could give Hacks an award. Best Actress in a Comedy Series. The nominees are Elle Fanning for The Great, Renee Elise Goldsberry for Girls Five Eva, Selena Gomez for Only Murders, Sandra Oh for The Chair, Issa Rae for Insecure, and Jean Smart for Hacks. Jean Smart.
Yeah. And she's gonna do the single season sweep. She's going everything. So
she is congratulations, Jean Smart. I think that's gonna be great. For Best Actor, Joyce will just blow through these. In a comedy series, Ian Armitage for Young Sheldon, Nicholas Hoult for The Great, Steve Martin for Only Murders, Kaivan Novak for What We Do in the Shadows, Martin Short for Only Murders, and Jason Sudeikis for Ted Lasso. Clearly Ian Armitage for Young Sheldon, right? Oh no, wait, Ted Lasso and Jason Sudeikis.
Were you reading that in reverse order? No offense to Ian. Yeah, Jason. And they like repeat winners in here as well. So I think Bill Hader went back to back before this. So yeah, more SNL alums repeating.
Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series nominees were Kristen Chenoweth for Schmigadoon, Hannah Einbinder for Hacks, Molly Shannon for the other 2, Cecily Strong for SNL, Josie Tota for Saved by the Bell. Great nomination. She's so funny on that show. And Hannah Waddingham for Ted Lasso. I have Hannah Waddingham. I don't think I could see Hannah
another
Einbinder.
Repeat. This is like so boring.
It's a little boring, but I'm like, I don't know who else is going to win here. I guess we'll see.
No, and again, they were the first people to reward Hannah last year as well, and she had a great reaction last year when she won. Like I think the TV awards, it's going to be a lot of Emmy rubber stamping.
Yes. And
Succession.
Yeah. For Supporting Actor in a Comedy, Cootie Gatwa for Sex Education, Brett Goldstein for Ted Lasso, Harvey Gann for What We Do in the Shadows, Brandon Scott Jones for Ghosts, Ray Romano for Made for Love, and Bowen Yang for SNL. Just what a grab bag. But I have Brett Goldstein for Ted Lasso.
Yeah, and they didn't nominate him last year.
No.
Right? I don't think they did.
No.
Dan Levy won last year, so obviously he's not back. Yeah, so this is their chance to crown Brett. Yeah.
Drama series, Joyce. Here we go. Evil. For All Mankind, The Good Fight, Pose, Squid Game, Succession, This Is Us, and Yellow Jackets. While I think that the Squid Game hive has risen up and could push Succession here, I think Succession will win.
Yes. Number 2 for Succession. So yes, I don't know what else there is to say.
Nothing else. For Drama Actress, the nominees were Uzo Aduba in Treatment, Chara Aurelia for Cruel Summer, Christine Baranski for Good Fight, Katja Herbert for Evil, Melanie Linsky for Yellow Jackets, and Michaela J. Rodriguez for Pose. I had Michaela J. In December, and I have her now, but I wonder if Melanie Linsky kind of sneaks up. People love Yellow Jackets.
I switched I too had Michaela in December when they announced these, but I've since switched to Melanie.
Interesting.
Yes.
I'll be curious to see. This could be a tie situation, Joyce. It feels like a tie.
It could be. I don't know if they've tied in this category specifically, but obviously we know they can do ties.
So Michaela J. Rodriguez, since the Critics' Choice has been, was part of the Vanity Fair Hollywood issue, I believe, right? Wasn't she represented there, or am I making that up? I think she was.
On the cover?
I think she was on the cover, and then she obviously
cover.
won at the Golden Globes, which was like a historic win that no one got to see because it wasn't on TV. But she did put up a speech on Instagram, I think, for her victory. I don't know. People do love Melanie Lynskey is definitely a film Twitter fave, and I wonder, does film Twitter like seep into Critics' Choice Awards Twitter? Maybe it's the same.
I mean, there is buzz for Yellow Jackets, yes. Like especially around the finale, which was like in November, right? So yes. So that timed perfectly with her nomination here and the series nomination. So and then she had some good press, I guess, like a couple of weeks ago when she shared that story about how someone on the production was body shaming her, mm-hmm. and her co-stars came to her defense and everything. So I could see them like backing her. And it's funny because like we can't use like the last couple years as data to like predict this, because last year was Emma Corrin and obviously she's not back. And then the year before Regina King won, when Watchmen was considered a drama series before they were like, it's not coming back, it's limited.
Yeah. Either one would be, I'd be happy with either one winning, but I guess we'll see. For drama actor Joyce, this one I actually did change from where we were in January to now. But the nominees were Sterling K. Brown for This Is Us, Mike Coulter for Evil, Brian Cox, Succession, Lee Jung-jae for Squid Game, Billy Porter for Pose, and Jeremy Strong for Succession. I would have had Jeremy in January, but I've switched now to Lee Jung-jae for Squid Game.
Because of a SAG win?
Yes, exactly right. I think the Critics' Choice wants to appear like they're in trend or on trend, and Lee Jung-jae is definitely trending to being a favorite in the Best Actor category. And so the Succession vote split again, and there you go.
I still have Jeremy, but I can see Lee Jung-jae winning.
The other thing
I think that's the easiest place to reward Squid Game as well.
That's exactly right, because it does not really. We'll see now when we go to Best Supporting Actress that they did not nominate. I'm blanking on
Jung Ho-yeon.
Yes, so that means that it can really only win here or Best Series then, right? Like there's not really a lot of other spots. Mm-hmm. So I think if they want Squid Game to be represented on the broadcast in a positive fashion, they will pick Lee Jung-jae here. But I guess we'll see. For drama supporting actress, Joyce, the nominees were, this category is just a wild category. Christine Lade for Evil, Andrea Martin for Evil, Audra McDonald for The Good Fight. So Paramount Plus just coming on strong. Then Jay Cameron.
Critics' Choice always loves Paramount Plus. Yeah, you have to give them that.
Jay Smith Cameron for Succession, Sarah Snook for Succession, and Susan Kelechi Watson for for This Is Us. Susan Kelechi
Watson's on Succession.
She would be dope on Succession. No, I really add her to the cast for season 4.
What if she just wins because of the Evil or like Paramount Plus and Succession vote split?
So I thought of that. I have Sarah Snook winning. I had her in January.
I have Sarah too.
What if it's J. Smith Cameron though? I feel like there's this. I could argue that they're free from giving it to Sarah Snook because she didn't win obviously at SAG, and it's a great performance, but like there's no urging to give it. I guess there's no like need to give it to her. And Jerry is such a fun character. Is there a world where she actually wins? I don't know. I guess.
I think. I mean, Sarah didn't win the Globe. No one saw it, but we saw it on Twitter.
We love to laugh. Laughter is the best medicine, and Sarah Snook.
Is laughter or music?
Whatever it is, something's the best medicine, and then Sarah Snook was the best actress.
Okay. But I think just in general in season 3, Sarah had more to do.
She did.
Than Jay. She did. Love Jerry. But especially that finale, like, come on.
Right. No, you're right. I mean, Sarah Snook is awesome in it. She's a great actress, so hopefully she does win. For supporting actor in a drama series, Nicholas Braun for Succession, Billy Crudup Morning Show, Kieran Culkin Succession, Justin Harley, This Is Us, Matthew McFadden, Succession, and Mandy Patinkin, The Good Fight.
They love nominating Mandy Patinkin. Remember when they nominated him for Homeland when it didn't even air that year?
Yes. Joyce, I have Kieran Culkin winning. I want to give it to Matthew McFadden.
I same, but I have Kieran.
I don't know. I don't believe they would go for Tom Wamsgans, but hopefully they do.
So I think I've mentioned this before, where I've always felt like Matthew and that performance is something that's more Emmy friendly.
You did mention
like he's always more likely to win the Emmy than anywhere else. Like I could see him ending the series with just an Emmy win and no other wins anywhere else.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I also feel like I don't know if I said this to you or like somebody else, but after like SAG nominations, I realized that Kieran Culkin is the Gene Smart to Matthew McFadden's Julianne Nicholson. Because if you like watch the shows like Mayor of Easttown and Succession, like the full season series, like you have a deep appreciation for what Matthew and Julianne did with their characters, especially in the finale when all comes together both of their characters, right? But if you're just like a casual viewer of Mayor or Succession, I think Kieran and Gene pop out more because they're more like the comic relief types, and they have like the jokey stuff and the quips and everything, and like Gene has the pratfalls. So I think that kind of like grabs you more, and I think that's why both Kieran and Gene got those SAG nominations.
Interesting. I really like that theory. No, that's a great theory. I'm weighing on that.
So maybe that's my way of saying Matthew's going to win the Emmy over Kieran.
Fingers crossed. No offense.
Even though I want them to tie, so they could tie at the Emmys.
Best limited series, Joyce. The nominees were Dope Sick, Dr. Death, It's a Sin, Made, Mayor of Easttown, Midnight Mass, The Underground Railroad, and WandaVision. And I have
quite a list here. I'm not like a bad list.
No.
Just a list.
Very big list. I have Mayor of Easttown winning.
Same. And I really needed to win another, like it won like the T-Save for limited series, but I wanted to win more series awards since it obviously didn't win the Emmy.
Right. So no notes here. I had Made actually in second for a while, but I think I'm going to switch to Dope Sick because I
put Dope Sick in second because it's like low-key strong with the industry. So
and it feels ascendant. It feels like a show that people are catching up on.
Yeah, like the thing with Hulu is like it doesn't ever have like the reach of Netflix, obviously. Like Netflix just has, like everyone has Netflix and people watch their shows, like every single, even like Inventing Anna, which people are just like dunking on basically right now. But like they watch it, you know, and I don't know if that's the same with Hulu shows. Like they have so many limited series this year, like Pam and Tommy, The Dropout, just out, but it doesn't have that same reach. Even if you can argue like some of their shows are better than like Netflix's output, you know? But like Dope Sick does feel like one of those shows that like people who watch it do like, and they're catching up on. Yeah. And then that Keaton speech.
Really great. Best movie made for television, Joyce. I'm going to guess when they do this one's not televised. I'm just going to throw that out there.
They do a lot of award announcements like during commercial breaks.
Yeah, this feels like one that they would shuffle there. But the nominees were Come From Away, List of a Lifetime, A Map of Tiny Perfect Things, Robin Roberts Presents Mahalia, Oslo, and Zoe's Extraordinary Christmas. I have no idea.
I'm feeling festive and I'm going with Zoe.
Same. I think it's the favorite in our odds too. It's the kind of show that critics really rallied around when it was on NBC and then it got canceled. Roku picked it up for a special, and this is what the result was. Sure, I guess. I don't know. You could tell me any of these would win, and I'd be like, great, congratulations. But yeah, I have Zoe as well.
Yeah.
For movie limited, best actress in a limited series or made for TV movie, the nominees were Danielle Brooks for Robin Roberts Presents Mahalia, Cynthia Erivo for Genius Aretha, Dusa Maduba for Underground Railroad, Elizabeth Olsen for WandaVision, Margaret Qualley for Made, and Kate Winslet for Mayor of Easttown.
Kate.
Obviously. This is a good category, though, but obviously Kate for Mayor of Easttown.
It is a good category, yeah.
Best actor in a limited series or made for TV movie. Ali Alexander for It's a Sin, Paul Bettany for WandaVision, William Jackson Harper for Love Life, Josh Jackson for Dr. Death, Michael Keaton for Dope Sick, and Hamish Linklater for Midnight Mass. Michael Keaton, Joyce, off his SAG speech.
Keaton all the way. Although I wish like Paul Bettany, my guy, could win something for WandaVision. He's not going to.
No.
It's over here.
Best supporting actress in a limited series or movie. Nominees were Jennifer Coolidge for White Lotus, Caitlin Dever for Dotep, Catherine Hahn for WandaVision, Melissa McCarthy for Nine Perfect Strangers, Julianne Nicholson for Mayor of Easttown, and Jean Smart for Mayor of Easttown. Pretty competitive category. Julianne obviously won the Emmy. Catherine Hahn was favored to win the Emmy, and we're all shocked that she lost. I still have Jennifer Coolidge winning for White Lotus. I don't know if that's going to come true, though.
Oh, I think she's pretty safe here. Yeah, Jennifer Coolidge. Okay. She's become like the face of that show.
Yes.
And that it hasn't really won anything yet.
It hasn't won anything yet, and obviously, I think it'll do well at the Emmys. And these other shows were previous Emmy seasons, so like, there's no real need for them to give it to.
I also like how vague HBO has been about what she's doing in season 2. Like,
yeah,
we've known she was returning for season 2. It's supposed to be an anthology at a different White Lotus resort. And then it was just, is she playing Tanya again? And then they finally, like via a tweet last week, confirmed that she's returning, but they don't say who she's playing.
Correct.
Because
it's very
if
cagey.
she's playing Tanya, then at the Emmys, they're going to have to punt it to probably comedy.
Yes. Which she could still win, maybe a comedy supporting actress, but
I mean that's there's more slots there, but it's still, I think, like Hannah Waddingham
right.
is probably gonna,
but it would make it more competitive, I'd say. I don't know. Best supporting actor in a limited series or made for television movie: Murray Bartlett, White Lotus; Zach Gilford, Midnight Mass; William Jackson Harper, Underground Railroad; Evan Peters, Mayor of Easttown; Christian Slater, Dr. Death; and Courtney B. Vance for Genius, Aretha.
I'm going with my guy's names, Evan Peters.
Me too, but I don't know. This is a fun category. I actually really love 3 of these performances a ton. Murray Bartlett, obviously, and I think William Jackson Harper and Underground Railroad is amazing. I don't think he's going to win, obviously, but I feel like Evan Peters would win here. Yeah.
Remember when Donald Sutherland won here last year for The Undoing?
He's great on The Undoing. Remember The Undoing? Yeah. What a fun show.
I actually watched, like, I binged like the screeners for that, and I was just like, this is like not a great show, but it was just easy to watch. So it was a very like 90s pulp like mystery.
What I've noticed is like I've been thinking about this. We've been watching all these shows you mentioned, like The Dropout, we watched the first 3 of, and even Pam and Tommy. It feels like all these shows now, super pumped that we were watching, which I love, obviously, Pearl Jam all the way. There's just multiple needle drops of Pearl Jam in it, and it's like Wolf of Wall Street for dummies. All these shows, would have been movies in like 2003.
A lot of these shows should be movies.
And then it makes me laugh because it feels like they're TV. They're like TV for elder millennials / Gen X. It just is funny to me that this is like what the
it's like the Super Bowl halftime show. They're for us.
And it's weird knowing you've aged into like TV miniseries / like TV dramas that your mom or dad probably would have watched when you were a kid. There's really no difference. Like The Dropout is just like a TV show. It happens to have an A-list actress who's like an Oscar nominee and like a ton of really talented people behind the camera. Michael Showalter directed the episodes, but it's a TV show. You know, it does feel like something you would have watched on ABC. It's just funny to me.
So I watched. You didn't finish The Dropout, right?
No, we only did.
So I watched 7 episodes, and it's interesting because, like, obviously, you know, they do a lot of setup with like her college years back then, before, you know, she started Theranos, Elizabeth Holmes we're talking about, and it feels like if this were a movie, like this could have just been a movie, and it is going to be a movie with Adam McKay and Jennifer Lawrence, and it's like that, like those like first 3 episodes would just be like the first act, basically.
I thought the same thing
in a movie, and then they do a lot of like when you see the rest of the show, like she's really good in it. Amanda Seyfried and Alan Ruck is also in it. Yes, it's like I told you about this. Like his episode is like, killed me. What he does in it, but it feels like they're just trying to like extend this because they ordered 8 episodes, and then I felt that same way about like Inventing Anna. Like that was just a lot of fluff. Towards like the last 2 episodes were over an hour. that's a movie.
So we haven't finished Inventing Anna yet, but I noticed all the episodes were very long. It felt like a show that was desperate to be 40-minute episodes that they pushed.
Yeah,
like
so the other thing is, what else did I watch? I watched something else that was, I watched Anatomy of a Scandal.
Okay.
Perfect run, because 6 episodes and every episode's like 42 minutes. Like,
love to see that.
Love this. And then the other, like, Winning Time. I watched all 8 screeners. Every episode's 59 minutes. I'm like, this is way too long.
It's very long. I watched the first. I've only watched the first. I have a thing, Joyce, with the screeners. So I get some of the screeners. So I got Winning Time, and I was like, I don't have an Apple TV. I have like a Google TV, and there's no app. This is just inside nonsense. But I was like,
this is like first world problems.
I have to cast it from my computer to my TV, and it just looks junky. So I was like, I'll just watch it live on my nice TV. It's fine. So I'm going to watch Winning Time as it comes. Winning Time, great show. Very in on the first episode.
I just want like the basketball in Winning Times, and that doesn't really come until like episode 4 when they start camp. I'm not really interested in like the personal backstories, which is what they're trying to set up in these like early episodes and everything. But yeah, I'm just here for the basketball.
Right. All right.
Yeah, so that's a preview for Emmy season, I guess.
That's it. We'll talk more about this at the Emmys. Yes. Joyce, anything else before we wrap up here?
I don't think so. We'll do BAFTA tomorrow. We need more time on BAFTA.
Yeah, gotta look at
that. On Best Actress.
Yes, for sure. All right. Talk to you then, Joyce. Bye.
Bye.